Hey guys, welcome to another episode of The Fox List. Today's topic, top 10 male game characters. Number 10, Ethan, Heavy Rain. Now this might be a bit of an odd character to have on this kind of list, but he deserves this spot. Ethan is the father of 2 children. Sadly, the eldest died after walking off in the shopping mall while Ethan had to keep an eye on him. This event rocked the relationship of his other son in life, who ended up splitting. He's now a depressed man, just trying to do his best for his son. Then one day, his son gets kidnapped, and it's up to Ethan to rescue him, going through horrible, scary trials. Now you can play this game in different ways, where you do the trials, or not. But for the good ending, you do them. These include cutting off his fingers in many different ways. You can just grab a knife and just go for it, or saws and all kinds of stuff. But there's smart different ways to do it. Like you can make sure you have something hot on you to then cauterize the wound and that kind of stuff. He will also go towards oncoming traffic and such. All part of his trial. It's all being filmed and watched and all that. But he does all this to rescue his son. Also, he could fight and prove himself worthy of being a dad. And that is why he's on this list. Because he's a well-written character in that kind of sense. Number 9, David from Dino Crisis 2. David was one of 3 survivors in Dino Crisis 2. After the squad being attacked by a Velociraptor and a T-Rex, he was a badass. And every time you saw him, you jumped in his seat in a little bit of excitement. The first time you see him, he fires a rocket launcher into a T-Rex's face, blowing out his eye. And that was just cool. Sadly though, spoiler warning. Spoiler warning though, so skip ahead if you need. Sadly though, David does die towards the end of the game, but he does it really heroically, in the sense that one of the main characters, other survivors, Dylan, was about to be eaten by a Allosaurus, and he goes, "I'll save you, bro," and pushes him out of the way and allows himself to be eaten instead. And so he dies a heroic end. David is a hero and is on this list for that reason. Number 8, Zealous Wilder, Tales of Symphonia. Zealous, in my opinion, is one of the prettiest characters I've ever seen. But he's a bit of an ass and such a little shit. For he has his reasons. He grew up in a rich family, but neither parents cared for him, and was pretty much raised by the butler. He was the chosen, the one everyone looked at to save the world. So he had a lot of responsibility from birth. His own mother died in front of him, trying to kill him. Her last words were, "I wish you had never been born." So he is allowed to have some issues, that's for sure. He ends up betraying you so that he could pass the chosen status onto his sister, so that he could be free. Though in the end he ends up joining up with you because he made friends with you along the way. You know, he realizes what he's doing is wrong. Zealous is on this list because he's pretty to look at, and he has an interesting backstory that makes him an interesting character and fun to continue playing. Especially how sometimes he'd come off as a bit gay to Troy's Lloyd, the main character, and even in the anime take of the game, he calls him honey a few times, and it's kind of hilarious. Number 7, Nathan Drake, the Uncharted series. Nathan Drake is a derp. He travels the world in search of valuable treasures and finding legends and myths. He's been described as the male Tomb Raider, and that's a pretty accurate description, except he's a lot more funnier and a lot more derpy. He's quirky and such, but such a fun character to watch on screen. Just how like things happen, he would just like, oh shit, and somehow everything works out for him. He's just a fun character. Number 6, Leon S. Kennedy, Resident Evil series. Leon is a character you just feel sorry for. On his first day of being a cop, he ends up dealing with zombies in Raccoon City. Then ends up becoming a special agent working for a president and has to rescue his daughter. And he makes a new friend, Lewis, who ends up getting killed, sadly. And it's quite sad and tragic. Just the way he screams his name, it's like, aww. Just want to give him a hug. Then in the latest game, he has to kill the president himself as he has turned into a zombie. And not only did he make friends with him, but he's the president. And he has to shoot him. It's like, stop doing this to Leon. He has a good reason to have his little emo friends. That's for sure. Besides making him look pretty, he has a reason for it. That's for sure. So he is a very strong, likable character that you want to see more and more in the Resident Evil series. Number 5, Riku, Kingdom Hearts series. The reason why I choose Riku over Sora is simple, really. Sora is just average. He doesn't really have much of a story to him, besides being the good guy that wants to save everyone. Yes, there's plenty reason to make Sora Sora. But Riku is a much more complicated character, going over to the darkness, but sees what he has done and wants to make amends. He took control of the darkness within him and joined the light. He has experienced both and mastered both, more than what Sora has. He has done a lot to help Sora out on his journeys after the first game, always wanting to help, but he always sees Sora as being the better one, and though Riku has evolved and grown as a character a lot more than what Sora has. Number 4, Hope Estine, Final Fantasy 13. Hope is a character that doesn't get the recognition he deserves. People seem to hate 13 and hate Hope. But he's a damn kid after all, the youngest out of the group, so of course he's going to be freaking out a lot, especially after losing his mum and having to hang around a person that had a role in his mum's death. He's allowed to whine now and then. I think Hope is a character that grows the most as well in the game, and ends up becoming a strong, reliable person. The scene where he floods Snow on his mom's death is one of my favourite scenes of all the Final Fantasy games. I love that he was all grown up in the second one and has become a fine leader, and is one that helps evolve the world. Then in the third one, he helps out Lightning just because I love those two together, and they both taught each other a lot in the first game. Just put simply though, Hope is a character that is not loved as much as I love him, because he does grow a lot, and people don't seem to realise that. And that's what I want people to realise. Number 3, King, Tekken series. King is my favourite fighting character from all fighting game series. He's got really good movesets with good combos, but you've got to play him enough to understand how to get these combos working. Plus, he is a 30. He is a 30. Like, come on. He's got the tiger mask, though not only that, but he's got a tail. The mask is one thing, because it is based on a real person. Though he has a tail, which is probably not that smart. Or for one thing, having a mask that covers his face is not smart in general for wrestling, because you need full vision. But having the tail is just will leave you at a disadvantage. People can grab it and such, but he wears a tail. That is definitely makes him a lot more furrier than just having a mask on. And I love the fact that you can make him in the latest game change the outfit to make him look a lot more beast-like. I really love the look of him like that. though it's his story I love as well, and it's why he's on this list. Bear with me as I go through his story. As I doubt most people don't know his story, they just see him as a wrestler, but there's so much more to him, so bear with me as I go through that, okay? King was an orphan street brawler, but after a fight, he ended up badly wounded and collapsed outside a monastery. The priest saved him from death, and he realized the error of his ways. He himself became a priest and went into the first Iron Fist tournament to win money to build up an orphanage for street kids like himself, to save them from not ending up like him, basically. He met his rival Armor King during it. Before the second game, a child died. Before the second Iron Fist tournament started, a child died in his care, and he went into a deep depression and left his mask behind, quitting being that character. Though Armor King convinced him to join Iron Fist 2, which got him out of depression. Though the fearsome ogre was awakened by Heihachi sometime later, King was sadly killed by him. So then we get King II. He was an orphan brought up in First King's orphanage and trained with King. After hearing about his death and the orphanage with 1 hour money, he donned a mask and entered competitions. Unfortunately, he was nowhere near as good, only knowing King's moves as a kid, and so he lost every competition he went in. But word of a new king made Armor King come out and become the new king's master. They trained for 4 years, and King entered the Iron Fist 3 to get revenge on the one who killed his foster father. After the third tournament, Armor King, his master, was killed in a bar fight by Craig Murdoch. He ended up going to jail, but his bail was paid off by King himself. And he challenged him in the Iron Fist 4. He won the fight and put him in hospital, and he went there to kill him to deal the final blow. But he realized the error of what he was doing and realized that it's just wrong. So he turned around and went home, not dealing the final blow. Though King was furious when he learned that Murdoch was beating up people while wearing a black dragon mask, and then challenged King once again in Iron Fist 5. Murdoch lost though, but it was the start of a friendship, which admittedly I do hate the fact they are friends now and are paired up. It's one thing I do hate. Before Iron Fist 6 starts up, Murdoch gets beat up by someone wearing Armor King's outfit. And in Tekken 6, you find out that it's actually Armor King's brother who has come back for revenge. And that is his story up to this point. I find it really interesting how deep and emotional it is. There's a lot to this character and a lot to his story, which makes him really quite interesting. And it's why I love him and why I want to see more of him. Number 2, Kid Icarus. I never knew how much I ended up loving his character. I love playing him in Super Smash Bros. And then he gets a new updated game with some of the most quirky and amazing characters I've ever come across. That have a lot of references in them from other games, and even its own game, it questions who the hell is Kid Icarus? You know, who's this Icarus guy? You know, that's just hilarious. Hades, for example, looks amazing and it's just so funny. But Pit himself is a bit of a derp, but he's brave and courageous, always willing to help those in need. His reaction whenever he comes across hot springs is priceless. And it's just one of these characters you fall in love with instantly and want to hug him and take him home with you. And number 1, Dante, Devil May Cry. The most handsome and badass character ever made. Dante is like the fifth Ninja Turtle, but as a demon slayer, as he is a badass pizza-loving dude. He is so calm about every situation he gets in, no matter what demons he faces, and always finds a way to mock them and tease them before shooting them down several times or just slicing them up with his sword. He's just such an awesome character, mocking his foes by being extremely cocky and relaxed. Dante's story is interesting as well, with his dad being a demon named Sparta. He was a hero to the human world because of his dad being a demon and mum being human, he has like invincibility. Because of his dad being a demon, and his mum being a human, he seems to have like an invincibility power. Like you just can't kill him no matter what, and it just makes for some extremely awesome, badass moments. And how he just gets stabbed and pulls swords out of him, just, you know, whatever. He doesn't give a shit if you stab him. He just takes it and just, oh, okay. Bloop, bloop. Zing! Yeah, he doesn't give a crap, and it makes for some of the most badass scenes in gaming. Well, everyone, I hope you enjoyed this vid. Let me know by liking, and send me a comment as well if you want to talk about this video, or if you got any future ideas for videos in mind. Alright guys, I'll catch you later. Ow, ow!